Brett St. John was in front of Laura by 3 yards as their party moved slowly down the 900-foot drop from the rim of the gorge to the mighty Zambesi River. The 1,600-mile-long Zambesi River begins in the Congo and ends up in the Indian Ocean and the eastern side of Africa. Brett played back to Laura the early morning lecture she missed. The 1,600-mile-long Zambesi River begins in the Congo and ends at the Indian Ocean on the eastern side of Africa. That's the one we are going to be seeing from 100 yards when we start rafting, Brett shouted over the ever-increasing din of the waterfalls. We will begin our great white water challenge of the 21 rapids of one of the world's most dangerous and vicious rivers, the mighty Zambesi. I read the same brochure, Laura replied in her typical style of condescending brevity. Sorry, Brett said. God, you're getting too British. She laughed at Brett's use of the word sorry. The group of 70 rafters were directed to split into 10 groups of 7 aboard the 10 rafts. Laura and Brett were told to seek out Curvius, their Zimbabwe rafting guide, who had been patiently waiting at the river's edge and welcomed us with a characteristically winning Zimbabwe smile. Jumbo, he offered in his hello in Swahili, repeating it rapidly to each in the group. I will be your guide, and just maybe your salvation. He smiled even broader with the white teeth that he had never seen a single bacteria. Brett poked Laura in the ribs. Look, they're always smiling. My name is Curvius, he chanted while pointing to each of the rafters in turn, followed his lead, and repeated their first names in reply. Curvius was a warm and gentle Maasai. He had left the tribe 5 years ago at the age of 16 to join the British-owned and run Shearwater Rafting Limited to be one of the guides. He was just over 6 feet in height and powerfully built, but lean of fat, a body that appeared to be made only of muscle. He gave up the nomadic life of a Maasai warrior that hunted lion and Cape buffalo that brought him a total wage of $2 per day. With Shearwater, he was rich, earning $10 per day, in a life that always had the same room to sleep in, running water, and made of proper wood walls. This was much better than the Maasai tribe home that consisted of a mud hut from cow dung and dried grasses. Curvius seemed to genuinely care for the safety of his 10 customers, who would entrust him to bring them safely through the dangerous rapids of the Zambesi. 18 rapids in all, and an exhausting 8 hours of strenuous efforts to stay alive and not to become a victim of the Victoria Falls River, the Zambesi River. The Zambesi is not forgiving, he continued, pushing the first of the 10 rubber life rafts from the boulder-laden shoreline. But we have 10 chase kayaks to fetch those of you who become swimmers, and all of you will become swimmers. He smiled. The Zambesi is only 150 feet wide and 850 feet deep in places, as it passes through the narrow gorge for the next 15 to 18 miles that we will travel. We will go through 18 of the 21 rapids. 4 are Class 3, 5 are Class 4, and 8 are Class 5, and only 1 is Class 6. You will have the opportunity to choose if you wish to attempt Class 6. It is named Commercial Suicide. Curvius continued with a quiet laugh that relieved some of the tension that the entire group was feeling. He moved 3 feet into the river, pulling the yellow-covered raft with him. The rapids are each a half to 3/4 of a mile long, and the mountains of water and waves can rise to 10 to 20 feet.